Hey party people and craft cocktail lovers. On today's show, we're going to show you how to make Kahlua at home. It's actually a little bit better in some ways, but you know, the old Kahlua is still familiar. But before we get into that, make sure that you hit that like, subscribe, and notify bell so you're the first one to know when we upload new content to this channel, and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. If you're new to the show, thanks for being here. If you've been on our channel before, we genuinely appreciate you coming back and looking at our content. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Now, Kahlua has been around for decades and decades. It is that delicious Mexican coffee liqueur that goes in just about everything from brownies to your morning coffee to other great cocktails like the White Russian and Black Russian. And by the way, check out our video on that comparison. So today we're going to show you how to make it at home, make it in an economical way, and make sure that it's actually able to be stored for months and months if properly kept in the refrigerator. So let's get right to it. Today we're going to show you that it is so simple to make Kahlua at home. It's actually basically 4 ingredients. Now, there's a little debate on whether you want to use rum or vodka. Now, let me get to the bottom of that for just a minute. Some people will use vodka if they don't like too much of a robust flavor. They want it to be a little more generic and not overpower other things in their recipe, and that's perfectly fine. But if you actually look at the ingredients in Kahlua, it really comes down to 3 things. And if you look at the nutritional value of what Kahlua actually is, it tells you the recipe. It's rum, coffee, and sugar. It's actually 29% sugar, so almost a third of sugar. So that's kind of what we're going to use as our baseline today, just to make it easy for everybody to remember and easy to get it and make it and store it at home. So here we go. The first ingredient is just white sugar. Now some people will use brown sugar, but I think it's just a little too heavy. Okay, we're going to be using a spiced rum in just a little bit, so we don't want to overpower anything we're putting this in. So 1 cup of white sugar. The second ingredient is, we actually cheated a little bit. We're using the Kahlua Black Russian coffee, and any dark coffee will work. The Cafe Buffalo instant granules can work. Some people will use Folgers. I happened to find this at a local home store. I said, hey, why not? Let's give it a try. I have some right here. It's already fresh brewed, and we're going to just put in 1 cup of that. And you might start seeing some similarities. If you've ever made simple syrup at home, you know that it is 50% water, 50% sugar. So there's really no need to go out and buy expensive simple syrup when all you have to do is just boil it down and make it clear. So we're going to throw that on medium-high for just a moment. Now, when you're making Kahlua, you know, you can actually give this as gifts, and it makes a wonderful gift. And all you have to do is just put it in a mason jar or a clear wine bottle, as long as it has a good means in order to secure it tightly. A, you don't want it spilling, and B, you don't want it oxidizing. But the alcohol in it really will preserve it pretty well. So you just want to give that a good stir, and you're going to start seeing that sugar in the bottom of that pan just kind of disappear. Now, when you're cooking this, water boils at 212, as most everybody knows. So, but when you're doing this, you don't want to cook out the alcohol out of your Kahlua mix. You still want to have a little bit of that alcohol benefit, if you will. And by doing this, you got to let it get up to almost almost boiling, just so that sugar dissolves completely, because you don't want any sediment in the bottle either. Now, about the alcohol, alcohol will actually start burning off at 173 degrees. So after you have dissolved all of your alcohol, there's going to be a little gap of time before the next step, because you need to let it cool down for two reasons. One, like I said, you don't want it to boil off the alcohol, and number two, you don't want to burn yourself. So we're going to let this just go ahead and dissolve. It looks like we're pretty much there already. So let me go ahead and turn off the stove, and we'll be back in just a second. And we're back. I allowed the simple syrup mixture with the sugar and the Kahlua Black Russian coffee to cool down to about 105 degrees, so it'll serve and it will be safe to handle. Okay, so the last part that we need to add in, we have the Captain Morgan's original spice rum we're going to add in, and we have an optional vanilla extract. We just need a teaspoon of that. We'll throw that right in the mixing cup, just like that. Some people will like a little additional vanilla kick that it brings, but sometimes it might be just a little too much. It's really up to your preference. So that is the secret fourth ingredient. So we're going to add in 1 cup of the Captain Morgan's original spice rum. Add that right in there. And we'll just put this right into the mix. I can smell it already. It smells gorgeous. And just give that a gentle stir. And of course, what do you call Kuhlua during the holidays? Kahlua fa la la la. Had to get that dad joke in there. Alrighty, that should do it. And we're just going to use a 1-quart mason jar. And we're just going to pour this right in. So we're going to cut over to the sink for the safe handling and make sure that I keep the missus happy by not spilling this everywhere. And all that remains is just to pour that right in the mason jar. And as you can see, I'm glad I didn't do this over the stove. There we go. And we're back. So we just take this and just pour a little bit into a shot glass, and let's see how this turned out. Not bad, Wheeler. So this is how simple it is. It's basically just 3 ingredients and 1 optional ingredient. It's just the dark roasted coffee, some white sugar, some rum, and the optional vanilla extract. And let me tell you, it's a lot less expensive, and this is a very scalable recipe. We basically did 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup, and we made a quart. So if you want to make 2 quarts, you just double it to 2 cups each. If you want to make 4 quarts, just do 4 cups each, and it'll just scale up from there. And it's a lot less expensive, and you don't have to use those fancy liqueurs like the $45 bottle of Godiva chocolate liqueur, or there's some of those other ones that take 5 and 7 and 8 different ingredients. This is how simple it is. So make sure that you enjoy this, and if you found this interesting, go ahead and hit that like button down there. We would really appreciate it. And if you have any other cocktails you'd like to see on this channel is just as much yours as it is mine. So put them down there in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. So that's it for today. This is Bourbon Bill with Bourbon Bill's Pirate Bar. And I know the planet hadn't shifted because I'm in the kitchen instead of in the bar. So you'll usually see me back behind the bar in our other videos. So we'll see you soon, and cheers.